Export St. Lucia assures Seamoss farmers who are exporters that there will be no lag time to obtain the Seamoss export certificate once farmers or exporters are approved. Export St. Lucia CEO Sunita Daniel says that it would take only one business day. She also says that the certificate will only come at an administrative cost of $20. Daniel says that the certificate is not an added barrier to trade. Rather, it will assist in building St. Lucia's Seamoss brand. Throughout the past year, Daniel says Export St. Lucia has met with Seamoss farmers and have given them assistance to meet the standards for Seamoss in the international market. She says the majority of Seamoss farmers adhere to the standards required. However, she says there are a few who do not, which could potentially risk the entire multi-million-dollar industry.
The US FDA, who is responsible for the consumption of foods in the United States, actually visited St. Lucia in March of this year. They were vastly looking at Seamoss as an export. They have further notified us that they will be coming again in October. St. Lucia is a small island state. We are very vulnerable to what the other countries say that we must do. We export a product into the United States, into Canada, into the European Union countries, and these countries have strict laws as to what guides the food safety of their citizens.
Daniel says that Seamoss buyers and governments from international countries have been querying certain things related to Seamoss production in St. Lucia, such as water quality tests and nutritional content. Although St. Lucia already has systems in place, she says the Seamoss certificate will give assurance to other countries that the Seamoss is of the highest quality. For those farmers who do not meet the standard, Daniel says that Export St. Lucia has tried to assist them over the past year by providing Seamoss drying tables and changing floaters in the sea.
We are all aware that there are Seamoss farmers who do not adhere to those standards, and we have reached out to them in the past year. We've tried to assist. We've already given them Seamoss drying tables. We've changed the floaters in the sea. We've done quite a lot to assist them in that way. But there are still some people who do not adhere to that standard. And what happens is when these countries send their inspectors into your country, these persons who do not adhere to those standards are also examined. And what it does is that it puts the entire Seamoss industry at risk. So what we have is an entire Seamoss industry potentially being at risk because a few people in the industry are not adhering to the standards which are required.
She adds that the certification puts the industry a step ahead by being able to trace products to farmers via batch numbers. Jason Badal, program manager and the person responsible for the Seamoss industry at Export St. Lucia, says this process does not inhibit anyone from exporting Seamoss.
What Export St. Lucia has been doing over the past couple of years is facilitating exports. We have created, as an agency, as a country, a brand that is currently known as the best in the world. And to maintain the brand, there always must be brand standards. And while the CEO mentioned most of the Seamoss farmers are ultimately adhering, the impact of one can damage the work of many. And we want to ensure that the brand remains the best in the world. To do this, you must follow basic food safety standards. And a lot of people don't realize that while Seamoss is typically a seaweed, it is considered a food product. And for food items to enter those markets, you must be able to follow food safety standards. Traceability being the main one.
Badal says that when growth in Seamoss consumption began, there were only a little over 50 part-time Seamoss farmers. Today, he says there are hundreds of farmers involved in the industry, which is marketed on quality. While St. Lucia is not the largest producer globally, Badal says St. Lucia's Seamoss is the most popular. The St. Lucia Bureau of Standards is partnering with Export St. Lucia on the export certification measure. The SLBS says this new measure will ensure that Seamoss is well received within the export market by having all prerequisite standards, certification, conformity and assessment documentation to show that the products meet established health and safety requirements. That way, it will not be detained in any export market.
This issue is coming up in that there are certain outliers that have been highlighted. St. Lucia Seamoss has been able to penetrate the export market, and we no longer have a business-to-business export, but a country-to-market export. And as such, you now start to attract the recognition of foreign competent authorities, the FDA, the EU, and they need to ensure that the requisite systems for global trade are being adhered to.
The Export St. Lucia CEO says that the Ministry of Health is also on board and reiterates that the certificate was requested by farmers to enforce the current standards. She adds that assistance will be given to those who currently do not meet the standard for acquiring the Seamoss export certificate. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.